Very soon, we will see that the year 2020 will be the year of technology all across the world. This includes an explosion in internet usage, countries subjected to extreme poverty getting access to high-speed internet connections, an introduction of new and advanced lines of robotics, and even a step into the right direction for robotics in the consumer field. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be making 5 incredibly accurate predictions for the year 2020 that many will not see coming, but will most assuredly ring true. Changes to the $20 bill. Although this might not seem like an important matter, these changes have been a long time coming and will mean a huge update to that of the United States Treasury. Back in early 2004, there was a lot of conversation in the United States about making new changes to the currency that could help to update the symbols of America while providing good reason for banks and organizations to turn in large amounts of exchangeable currency to be taxed and updated with clean new bills into circulation. This led to the changes already seen on the $100 bill, with Benjamin Franklin and the addition of the state-of-the-art blue band to help keep currency easy to validate and identify, and the huge economic boost it assisted with people exchanging currency and promoting spending. It appears then that by 2020, there will be another change to the face of the United States currency that will include a complete overhaul of the $20 bill and its symbols. Harriet Tubman, an old political figure of whom helped African Americans of whom led lives in shackles down in the South before the Total Emancipation Proclamation that established all people as being free men, will be the new face to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. This has been a huge fight for the African American community and the promotion of black suffering in the United States, along with a beneficial decision made by the United States Treasury to update the old designs of the bill and make it harder for forged and counterfeit currency being added to the economy by criminal organizations, of which will usually target the $20 bill, given its ease to replicate over the newly minted $100 bill. Indian high-speed internet. One of the biggest challenges that India faces to this day is that of its growing industry and technological revolution to catch up with the growing market changes of world globalization. This has led to a restructure of its urbanization, as well as attempting to bring a wide variety of different technologies to raise the standard of living in many rural parts of the country. In recent years, India has been a part of some of the most ambitious projects this world has ever seen, including a green revolution, the largest cleanup in the history of the world, and the movement of the Indians for honour that focus on changing the role of the government in everyday life and focus that on the work of citizens to help grow, fix and maintain their own neighbourhood. This has left a large amount of money for building continued infrastructure across the country that will lead to the construction of the world's largest optical fibre connection ever seen. This initiative will help to bring access to high-speed, state-of-the-art internet to over 600 million rural Indian citizens and will see some of the largest growth in the private sector, online business, spending and consumer habits, along with an increase in education and standards of living. Not only will this construction be entirely finished by the end of the year 2020, but it will help to explode the Indian economy and secure India in its rightful place as being the next democratic world power to replace the economic might of China and other Asian countries. Not only will India help to set the precedent for the growth of the future, but it will also be spearheading continued internet access and the public right to internet access over the coming years to help secure that all citizens of its country will have the right to high-speed information at all hours of the day, all across the country. Japan introduces its ARM processors. The ARM tech revolution will begin in the year 2020 and work to quickly establish itself as the dominant form of processor development for creating much higher levels of efficiency in processors, along with managing more optimized levels of pathways and data processing by removing unnecessary instructions in the management of calculations and processing potential. In fact, many tech companies have already grown in this field and will be introducing their line of state-of-the-art ARM processors to Japan in the year 2020 to see the rapid change and growth in the use of robotics and processing technologies in the consumer market. This very well means that the establishment of the world's first advanced computer networks and systems will find Japan as its home for the coming years, a country fit for the technological revolution considering its massive government expenditure aiming information industries over the past few years. ARM processors will feature certain functions such as that of including load and store architecture, an orthogonal instruction set to reduce non-essential instructions clogging up more efficient pathways, a focus on single-cycle execution to keep bit processing fast, enhanced power-saving designs to prevent a buildup of heat stress and allow for higher overclocking standards, an ability to switch between 64 and 32-bit states for scalable high performance, and hardware virtualization support to allow virtual boxes and emulators to run at a higher degree of performance. Although this might all be a little technical and hard to understand, it will more than help to revolutionize the tech industry in the year to come, and will see a massive reduction in the price of computational devices of all kinds. It will help to create a new gold standard of computer speed and advancement. The Robot Olympics event. The 2020 introduction of the state-of-the-art ARM processors are not the only major technological changes that Japan will introduce during that year. Given the fact that they have the rights to host the 2020 Olympics in their country, they will use this to seize the opportunity to promote an old idea floating around for a few years now. With all of the media attention on the country along with the focus of an Olympic promotion, Japan will use the Olympics as leverage to push its long-since conceived idea of hosting a robotics Olympic Games that will provide the creation of robots from every country with a focus of creating the most advanced and dynamic robots of the modern world. Additionally, rather recently, it has already been announced that Japan will work to make the entire event as robotic as possible with the use of translator robots at every corner, robotic assistants at airports, hotels, and events, and even with the introduction of a hidden announcement about robots and robotic advancements. This leads us to an overwhelming conclusion that it is more than safe to assume that this announcement will be the pushing of a Robot Olympics along with the focus on Japan as being the main host of such events for the foreseeable future. Not only would this help to explode Japan's economy in an artificially created economic boom, but the establishment of robotics-centered grants and events could help to see a tourist attraction never before established for the country in the field of sporting events. This will also see the establishment of robotics-focused government grants in countries around the world if the plan works, and helps to introduce a focus on such events in the future. Robot exoskeletons for consumer use. Although this might sound like the most ambitious prediction ever seen for that of the year 2020, but it appears to be a very realistic probability coming up in the next few years. There has been a large amount of study and development into the use of exoskeleton enhancement for the elderly or disabled to be able to gain new freedoms back into their life. This would mean that people with disabilities will be able to strap themselves in a robotic construction and use the skeletal frame to help them with a wide variety of tasks. These exoskeletons are expected to hit the consumer market by the year 2020, and the United States military has already begun using its funding into the matter to help promote the use of such robotic assistance in military personnel all across the world that will allow people to lift weights previously impossible for the human body and achieve a faster, more fluid motion in day-to-day life. Additionally, a report out of the Aalborg University shows that the majority of information to make the use of exoskeletons practical, affordable, and beneficial compared to traditional alternatives for the disabled has already been understood and made accordingly. This means that not only will the cost of such assistive technologies be made more practically than what is already on the market in comparison to wheelchairs and other technologies, but that these advances will be far more practical and beneficial to any other alternative that exists at the moment. Even more lines of exoskeletons are under study and creation to allow those without disability to get a leg up in day-to-day activities in the blue-collar workforce, which could also help to see the labour industry more than triple its manpower and growth. It is obvious that the year 2020 will be our first step to a more robotic and technologically adept future for everyone. But what do you all think of these changes and extreme industrial growth that is to be seen with a rapid technological change? Be sure to let us know in the comments down below, and be sure to share your answers and questions about the video. Hopefully, as we continue to grow our community, we will one day be able to solve these unexplainable mysteries. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.